So I've had the new MacBook Pro now for a number of weeks, and despite all that's been said online about this machine, both positive and negative, in this video I'm going to share with you my impressions so far as a consumer, and also some very disappointing things that I found, which I think you'd want to know about if you're interested in picking this laptop up. But these machines, in my opinion, offer the best overall cost-benefit ratio compared to any other laptop brand in its weight class. With that being said, if you're looking to purchase any of the new silicon MacBooks, be it the M1 Mac Mini, be it the M1 MacBook, the M1 Pro, or the M1 Max, here are a few things to know. And I will start with the positives, the good things first, because yeah, that's what we want to start with. All the new MacBooks run the same M1 chip in a sense, but with different modifications. I currently own a 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro that I absolutely love. And the first thing that really makes this feel like a great purchase, ladies and gentlemen, the speakers. The speakers on this thing, whatever magic and wizardry Tim and his squad are doing over there at Apple Hogwarts, it's really good. Now, Apple did mention at the October event that this was a new 6-speaker sound system featuring something they called Soundstage, but I wasn't expecting it to be this good. The first time I opened my laptop and heard those speakers go off, it was ridiculous in a good way. Now, I don't know if it's exactly the same auditory experience on the 14-inch as Apple claims, and I will be testing that out in a later video, but the speaker on my 16-inch can rock a Nigerian party. Nothing goes harder than a Nigerian party. Just ask around. On my previous laptop, while editing videos, I always used headphones throughout the whole process to get somewhat of good sound. Well, not somewhat, to get good sound. But on this MacBook, I only have to do that when I'm trying to really dial in my EQ or my levels. The speaker gets me through 90% of the process, which means less fatigue to my ears. People, money well spent, come on. To address the issue of the notch, come on people, really, come on. In my experience, I find that it doesn't affect how I work or use this laptop, and 99.9999% of the time, I barely even notice it's there unless I actively try to look for it. I've been using a 24-inch external monitor for editing videos and creating content until now, because ever since I got this laptop, it's been a whole new level of comfort. The display on this thing has insane clarity, detail, and color rendition because of the Pro display, the Pro XDR, something like that. I wouldn't say it's revolutionary, but it is by far in a class of its own. My previous MacBook couldn't handle being outside on a sunny day, but this laptop still manages to provide insane brightness irrespective of where I'm at outdoors. Also, watching content on the screen has been really enjoyable for me, specifically because of the screen real estate. I have prescription glasses, people, but I hate wearing them. So it's just nice to be able to see what I'm watching a few feet away from me. And I honestly don't know how I've survived on the 13-inch for so long. I mainly shoot documentary films and commercials for clients here. Time is of the essence, and this laptop has been saving me a lot of that. My downtime on video production have gotten a massive upgrade, and that in itself has boosted my creativity because of how efficient I work now. The fact that I don't have to wait 30 minutes to render and create proxies for a 5 to 10 second clip, it has been a game changer. I edited my whole unboxing video in Final Cut Pro, shot in 4K, Sony XAVC on a 4K timeline without rendering it once. Let that just soak that in. Soak that in. and it barely even got hot. Once again, my legendary 2015 MacBook Pro could barely even get through a color correction, and this just crushes it like hot knife going through butter. The fans on this machine have only kicked in once since I gave birth to it, and I'll tell you why shortly. Better believe I gave birth to this. But I honestly cannot think of a better laptop out there in terms of performance that beats this MacBook. Even if you're working with complex 3D models, which most people aren't, this thing will deliver on its promise. The overall aesthetic of this laptop is quite impressive to me. It's not ugly or bulky. I like the build design, and it feels very nice to the touch. I'm pretty sure you know what it looks like at this point, and I don't have to recite the details again. When I first unboxed it, it was smaller than I expected because of all the reviews that I had watched saying that, oh, this thing was big, it was big. I mean, have you seen the size of those Pro Alienware laptops? They're like, never mind. For me, I find that if I had to choose between the 16 or 14 inch again, I'd still choose the 16 inch version, as it's the perfect size for my needs, and I don't think I'm honestly sacrificing a lot of portability. Speaking of portable, I wanted to be able to use this laptop outside of my editing station, and yes, it's a little heavier than my previous MacBook, but not in a way that is unbearable. Personally, I've never owned a MacBook without an SD card slot or MagSafe. 2015 gang, 2015 gang. I'm glad that Apple is back to the roots, because this just feels like my 2015 MacBook Pro in that regard, design-wise, but with the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet upgrade. In terms of like the keyboard and trackpad, I haven't done a lot of typing or mousing yet, because I'm used to the Apple Magic Keyboard and my Logitech MX Master 3. I don't think that 1 or 2 typing tests is sufficient data, so I don't have a good point of reference for now, but from other reviews, it's all been A-okay, and in my 2 weeks of use, it's way better than the one on my 2015 MacBook Pro. The battery juice on this thing is, let's just say I can finish a 10-minute 4K YouTube video edit in Final Cut Pro on one charge. Maybe not with the export. This is insane. This is a 4K timeline. It's just right under 2 minutes. Look at that. Almost done. Oh my God. It's gonna take less than 5 minutes at this point. And it's gonna wrap it up at, oh my God, see? It's done. 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Apple says that this can go up to 21 hours of video playback and 14 hours of wireless web browsing, but I personally wouldn't be staring at a computer screen for that long for safety reasons, and I would advise you not to as well. Even better is the new 140 watt fast charging brick. That thing is big, y'all. For the 16 inch, that enables this laptop to like supercharge real fast, meaning that even after an extended use, I only have to be plugged in for maybe about an hour or 2 to get a decent amount of juice back in the box. If you think I've missed out on any of the positives of this MacBook, please leave me a comment below using the hashtag meh. Unfortunately, this thing is not perfect, and I'd like to manage your expectations as best as possible, because no one managed mine. When I started seeing these downsides, I began to really question my purchasing decision. I believe that almost every professional has a use case for USB 2.0 in their workflow. In my case, I normally edit off of a 1 terabyte Samsung T5 SSD, which has a relatively fast transfer speed, and that's okay because it has a native Type-C cable for this laptop. However, my LaCie 5 terabyte drive on this occasion doesn't, so I had to dongle up. Then this happened. So this thing is really struggling. If you can see the bitch bolt, it's not even like it's struggling hard to move just for 1,509 pictures. See? I mean, I guess you don't import 1,500 pictures every single day, so if that's your job, then I'm sorry for you. It was slow. Final Cut Pro crashed several times. I even had to restart the computer every time upon import just to get the time lapse done, and the fans went up to Mars like Dogecoin. The fans have kicked off for the first time, but then I've used the battery to, where is it? See, the battery's like super, it's low, 7%, using significant energy, Final Cut Pro. So I think the fan is just kicking off because the battery is low. This is the first time I'm hearing the fan actually go off. Now, if you know what I could have potentially done wrong on my part as a user, let me know in the comments, but my guess is that the transfer speed of the slow drive caused this, and it wouldn't have happened if they had just included the USB 2.0 in the first place. Come on! The second downside is that a lot of apps still aren't optimized or available yet on the new M1 chip. And although this is not an Apple problem, but it affects the overall experience of using this computer for me. I do a lot of online video meetings, and Sony webcam plugin is very, very, very important for that. As of this time that I'm recording this video, the app still isn't compatible with the new M1s yet, and hopefully in the near future we get firmware updates. You might want to check in with your plugin manufacturer if they support this new chips. Due to the finish on this laptop, it does tend to get smudged easily and won't clean off. I first noticed this in my unboxing video when I touched the Apple logo and my fingerprint wouldn't wipe off. I mean, yeah, it's my fingerprint, but I still want to wipe it off. I've also noticed a bleed on the trackpad as well, and I'm not sure if this is just dirt or actual wear and tear, which would be ridiculous considering this laptop isn't even a month old yet. But it's just not nice knowing that your laptop won't hold its original cosmetic, at least for a while. I'm still very unconvinced that I'll be using the webcam for anything else other than FaceTime with my family. It's a 1080p camera finally, and Apple brags about all the clarity and detail, but I find that it doesn't render my skin well and I look like a plastic doll with super smooth skin. This might interest some other people, but not me. So it's good relative to what was there before, but not anything that would make me like, oh my god, webcam. That wraps up this video as a casual user review. I'm not all about benchmarks or whatnot, but do I recommend this laptop for everybody? No. However, if you'd like to see more of this M1 videos or have any questions, send me a text in the comments or on Twitter at TayoIsMe, and subscribe for an upcoming video where I'll be discussing with other creators if the MacBook Pro is worth the money or if this thing is just hype. My name is Tayo. Remember that everything will be perfectly balanced, and yeah, this video is a wrap. I think it's a wrap. I think that's it. I think that's it, y'all. You know? Do you feel it? Cause I feel it. I feel like that's it. I feel like that's it.